Good day everyone. I wanted to make this video to explain to everyone why in South Africa the people of South Africa, the citizens, are state tax slaves. And this is something I've spoken about before, and there's many articles flying around at the moment saying that taxpayers, and especially wealthy taxpayers, are leaving South Africa. And they are doing this so that they could find other places where the money, the hard-earned money that they earn, where they can use more of that for themselves. Now in South Africa, what is the current status quo? About 60% of every tax rand that you pay goes towards state money. And this is not the politicians in parliament, don't get me wrong. This is not the provincial parliaments, this is not the municipal councils, this is not parliament, this is not NCOB that takes up most of the money. These are people employed in the state that's supposed to deliver the services, because no politician is supposed to deliver services. The state machinery, the state apparatus is supposed to do that. And about 60%, roughly 60% of every tax rand, 60 cents goes towards that. Now, this is not sustainable. This is a country where the state is so big, and that comes from the apartheid years, where the state basically gave work to most of the people. Now that has changed, but the apparatus hasn't changed. Since 1994, the so-called democracy, all that's happened is everyone in the country has a right to vote. That's the only thing that changed. It's about the only democratic thing that we have, because the governance system that was put in place made sure that the state remains strong and has actually grown in size and stature. So think of this, 60 cents in every tax rand. Then another 20 cents in every tax rand, or 20%, goes towards debt repayment, debt that our government has made. We didn't get a referendum to say that we agree to this debt. The government just made the debt. So in our current constitution, the government is allowed to just make debt as much as they want. And there's no recourse for the citizens of the country. We just have to keep on paying the tax to feed this debt, to feed the state apparatus. And I'll talk just now about why that makes us slaves. Because if you see where this money goes, then you will understand. The last 20%, well, that's probably less by now, goes towards service delivery. Now let's start there. With service delivery that we are supposed to receive, from that 20%, only 20%, 1/5 of the tax that we pay, goes towards all these tenders that the mainstream media moans and bitches about, where tenders are given to people that are corrupt, or that are called corrupt, and that politicians, families, etc. are involved. Okay, so 20%. So this is not the elephant in the room, as bad as it is. It's not the elephant in the room. So we are not even seeing of that 20%, even a fraction, actually in service delivery. This is how strong our country is financially, that we've actually survived up until now with a very small taxpayer base, where 58% of taxpayers come from under 800,000 people out of more than 60 million. Now, in most other countries in the world, this will not be sustainable. It just wouldn't work. But here, we have actually kept this country going until now, under those ridiculous conditions. So, that 20% where the money is supposed to go towards service delivery, that 20 cents in each rand, that is where the corruption, the fraud, the backhands and everything else takes place. Now the loans from overseas entities, 20 cents in every tax rand in loan repayments. Where did those loans go? Where did the money, the 520 billion rand during the COVID-19 pandemic that was handed to the government to try and sort out this mess, where did that go? Ask yourself that question. Which companies made money out of that? And you might know many people that put up screens in shops, all sorts of things, masks, you name it. People running around with smoke machines. I kid you not, I was asked to sell smoke machines to people that would run around in shops with smoke machines going psst, psst, and then it was supposed to kill the virus. Utter nonsense. And people were fooled, and the government just gave money left, right and center to opportunists, and there were many of them out there. So that is debt, loan repayments. Now here is the elephant in the room, and not the DA, not the EFF, not the ANC, none of the other parties are speaking loudly about this at all. The state apparatus, which is massive, that has to be reduced, which will be reduced in a new home governance system where the new constitution will break that down into a much smaller government structure where local governments become more responsible for service delivery with regards to school, policing, and all that type of thing. If you can just imagine when you have more control over those funds, how your life could change. But no, at the moment, it goes to the large state machinery. 60 cents in every tax rand goes towards that, and no one is talking about it. We have spoken about it on this channel many times before. The millions of people that work for the state, that earn massive salaries above their capabilities, skills, qualifications, and intellect. And there are many capable people within the state, but there are also many that are just a part of job creation. And this is a huge problem. In a new system, people would have to prove their worth, their value. And in that new governance system, it will be much reduced in size, massively reduced in size. And for that to happen, the citizens of the country need to become responsible citizens in a true form of democracy for that to work. So at the moment, you are working how many hours a day to fund that state? It makes you a slave to that state. You are a slave to that state. Your taxes are paying for it. Now you might say that all of those people are spending money and VAT is gathered from it. Absolutely. So it does recirculate back into the economy. But 60% of taxpayers' money, if there was 10% or 20%, I might still swallow it. But 30, 40, 50, no, not 50. 60% is insanity, and it makes you a South African state tax slave. Thanks so much for watching this video. Please, if you agree with me, tell me in the comments how you feel about this. And I want you to understand, if you want the governance system to change, how we elect our leaders, so this is not a problem anymore, how we govern the country, the whole system to change, you need to support OM for the national elections 2024 so that they can be that voice in parliament and then follow our plans on the ground, become part of the community to change this country from 2026 to 2029 so that the citizens can be in control of this country by then. Thanks so much for watching, and in the description below this video you can help fund this campaign. All the details are there. Look in the description below, and please share this with your friends and family.